Hey kids! Welcome to this week's episode of Let's Draw! Today, we're going to be drawing this dragon eye. So, what's interesting is that this week, we're not going to be using any grey lead pencils at all. In fact, we're going to be sketching it out just using colour pencils. Sound cool? I reckon. So, let's take a closer look at what we're going to need today.
For today, you're going to need a light blue pencil, sharpener, a thick and a thin black marker, and some colour pencils. Just remember, of course, if you don't have any of these things, you can just use whatever you've got available at home.
Okay, I think you know what comes next. Are you ready to draw? I know I am. Say it with me then. 1, 2, 3, let's draw!
To start off our dragon's eye, I'm going to use a light blue pencil to sketch a bit of a curved line. Now it's sort of a straight line with an angled line coming off of it. I have a slightly wavy line for the bottom of the eye. So a bit of a wave and then curves down and then joins back up to the other end. I'm going to draw 3 spikes running along the top of the eye, starting off smaller and getting slightly longer by the time I get to my third one. I draw a wavy curved line underneath the eye, but with some spikes coming off of each wave. So a long curvy line with spikes for each wave. Draw 2 more spikes on the top of the eye now, so one really long one and then one shorter one. Now for the dragon's eyeball. I've drawn my eyeball so it's slightly to the right, almost as if the dragon is looking out the corner of its eye. You could have yours centered if you wanted to. As I draw the pupil, I also leave a little bit of a square in there, so it's like there's reflection in the dragon's eye. I'm going to add some more spiked curvy lines above and below the eye. This is just for some extra detail. I'm going to run another curved line along the bottom of the eye of the dragon. So this is sort of like the eyelid. So I've got a line there and then I add some other 2 little lines just in the corner of the eye as well. So that's a basic sketch of our dragon's eye. What I'm going to do now is start to add in some other details using colour pencils. So this is the reason why we've sketched our drawing in a blue pencil. Because we've used a blue pencil, I'm able to draw back over it using other colours. And then those sketch lines that we did initially will then blend into the other colours. Now if I had have used a grey lead, what you would find happen is that when I add my other colour over the top, the grey lead would blend into the colour and would make it really yucky. So the grey lead would sort of muddy the colour and wouldn't look as nice. So by using a light blue pencil, I can sketch it out first and then add in other colours over the top, and what will happen is those other colours will then blend in that light blue and you won't see any of those sketch lines. So what you can see I'm doing here is using a dark pink, I sketch out everything nice and lightly first. Then when I'm happy with where it is, I can press a little harder and really thicken up that line so that the colour stands out. So I'm now going to go around the edge of that eye so that it really stands out. So by having those thicker lines, again, it creates a contrast between the light and the dark, and then it helps everything else to just stand out and stand apart. I'm adding in some other little details there using my blue pencil once again, and then I can add in that shading. So by sketching it out first in a blue, I know where things are going to go, and then they will blend together once I add other colors over the top. For the inside part of the eyelid, I use a fleshy colour, so I've got like a peachy colour. I'm now going to use a darker shade of pink to go over that. So by doing that, it's just adding in some contrast again, and then adding a little bit more detail as well. I'm going to use a brown colour to outline the spikes on the eye. And add some shading using a red pencil. When I colour it in though, I don't colour all of it, I just colour sort of the bottom half. We do the same technique for the other two horns on top, so outline it in a brown and then add that colour using a red. Using a darker shade of red, I'm going to go along the bottom of those spikes. So don't colour over all of the previous colour. I'm just going to go along the very bottom. So using a darker shade of red. And then again, this is going to build up that contrast between our colours. I'll colour in the rest of those spikes now using a lighter colour, so I'm using that same peachy colour I used earlier. We're now going to follow the same process as before for the rest of the eye. So we're going to use those same colour combinations, so use a brown pencil to outline and then use those light and dark shades of reds to add in our colour. I'm now going to use an orange pencil to colour in and around the eye. So I'm going to use a thin black marker now to start to sketch out over the top. So this is going to start to outline everything. Now a lot of these initial lines that I draw first using my thin black marker I will go over using a thick black marker later, but I just want to sketch everything out first so I can work out where I want the thicker lines and what lines I want to have nice and thin for that extra detail. Now I switch to a thicker black marker and you're going to see I add in some shading now. So just along those spikes, I'm going to add in a line and then shade it in so it's creating that shadow. I also really make a thick black line along the bottom of those spikes, so it really creates that contrast between the eye and the spikes. I'm now going to switch to the fine black marker just for some extra little details inside the corner of the eye here, but then I'll switch to a thick black marker to really start to thicken up those spikes on the dragon's eye. Back to the fine black marker now to add in some more of that detail. Adding our shading along the bottom of the eye now, so we go back to our thick black marker. So going to outline a lot of the lines that we've done originally using our thin black marker, but we're then going to add in that shading as well. So this creates shadow, and once again it's creating that contrast between our lights and our darks. Still using our thick black marker, we're going to colour inside of the dragon's eye first. So colour in the inside of the eye using our thick black marker. And now I switch to my thin black marker just to add in all those finer details. So because I've used the light blue pencil, I can easily draw back over those using our thin black marker, and then that pencil will disappear. And then I can add in and go over all of our other lines that we've already done in colour using our black. So those colours will still shine through, but then we've got that black contrast as well. And by using our thin black marker, we can get that real fine detail. Sticking with that fine black marker, I'm just going to sketch out and add in some more of that finer detail on the eye. I now switch to my thick black marker just to add in some darker shading. Using our fine black marker, I'm going to create just a very fine line in between the eye. So I'm creating a space because I'm now going to use a thick black marker to shade in the rest of the eye. But I don't want to go all the way to the eye. I want to have a little bit of a space in between just so that that eye will then stand out. So I'm now going to outline the rest of the details on our dragon's eye. So going over those other curved spiky lines that we did at the start. And in between, I'm just going to add in a little bit of shading as well. So it creates that illusion of being 3D. I'm going to finish off the dragon's eye now using a yellow. So using a yellow, I'm going to colour over the top of what I've drawn earlier, and you'll see that all those colours will blend in together really nicely. To finish off, I'm going to use a darker purple now just to add in some darker shading. So a lot of those lighter areas that I'd done earlier, I'm going over the top of them now using our dark purple. And that's it, we're done.
How'd you go, kids? I hope you had a lot of fun drawing your own dragon eye today. I can't wait to see how you went. Don't forget, like and subscribe, and as always, stay creative.